Welcome to our daily reflection for this Wednesday, July 16th. And so today we have Jesus speaking about Revelation, and he says how nobody knows the Father except the Son, and no one knows the Son except by the Father. And so this idea that, and he gives praise to God that he's hidden these things from the wise and the learned, but he's revealed them to babes, to children. And of course, in the first reading then, we hear about a revelation where God makes himself known to somebody who is innocent. And that is a shepherd named Moses. He's tending his father-in-law Jethro's flock. He sees this bush that's on fire, but the bush is not consumed by the fire. And this is quite a unique sight. So he goes over to examine this unique phenomenon. And then he hears the call of God. And God says, take off your sandals, Moses. You're standing on holy ground, and I am the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then God gives a call to Moses, and he tells him, I have a mission for you, I have a call. You are to go to Egypt and lead my people, Israel, out of Egypt. And you're going to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go. And I love Moses' response. His response to this vocation, this calling, is, who am I, Lord, that I should go to Pharaoh and let Israel go? Like, who am I? This is ridiculous, Lord. And that is always the feeling and response when we have a divine call, because a divine call is always bigger than us, right? If it's God's call, it's always bigger than what we can do by our own and on our own resources. God's call is bigger than us. And so it requires more than us. And this is going to be God's answer to Moses. God's not going to say, no, Moses, you've got this. You are equipped. You're ready to go. You can handle this. That's not how God coaches Moses. God says to Moses, I will be with you. You're not alone, in other words. Yeah, you're not equipped. Who are you to go to Pharaoh? Yeah, that's a totally appropriate question, God's saying. But I'm going with you, Moses. You're not alone. That's the answer. And so in our own lives, God is asking us to do something that is divine, that's bigger than us, bigger than our human strength, whether it's forgiving somebody in our life, whether it's for persevering in care for a sick family member. We are called to be patient, to be loving, to be forgiving, to be merciful in ways that are beyond the natural, beyond our own reservoir of strength and power. God calls us to do divine things in the very mundane things that he calls us to in our life. It's not just about Moses liberating Israel from Egypt. It's about us living God's love, God's divine love, in our own human relationships, with our own human and broken heart. And that requires a power beyond ourselves. And so we can say, who am I in my marriage to be faithful and to be loving and to be forgiving in sickness and in health and whatever else it's included in that? Who am I to forgive this person for what they've done? How can I do that? I can't do that. But we cry out to God and we ask him to be with us and to give us the grace. Because this is what the X factor is that God has to reveal to Moses. That it's not just about you, it's about you plus me. And so that's the X factor. So let's remember and put in our human calculations that it's not just us, it's us with God. And we can do all things in him who strengthens us. May the Lord bless and keep you.
This daily reflection is brought to you thanks to the generous support of the Mission Circle. Join the Mission Circle to help Catholics worldwide understand, live, and share their faith. Sign up at missioncircle.org today.